Secrets exposed, the 30M beachfront properties I never told my daughter on her wedding day. The air was thick with tension that day, buzzing with whispered secrets and unspoken words. As the sun dipped below the horizon, illuminating the coastal town in shades of gold and crimson, an old wooden pier creaked ominously beneath the weight of hidden truths. Everyone gathered to celebrate a wedding, yet the undercurrent of anxiety could not be ignored. News of a shocking inheritance had swirled through the crowd, leaving everyone on edge. What could be more gripping than the fact that the mother of the bride, Claire, had kept a staggering truth bottled up? Buried deep beneath layers of sugary wedding cake and glossy decorations lay the reality. Claire owned a small fortune in beachfront properties, worth a mind-boggling $30 million, always hidden from her daughter, Rebecca. For years, she had navigated life under the haunting shade of this secret. Each time her daughter would daydream about a perfect life, Claire felt that tight chest and lump in her throat tighten further. They lived in a quaint but modest house, yet beaches of crystal-clear waters and lavish estates were hers to command, residing just a few miles off the coast. When Rebecca learned of this fortune, the room exploded with gasps. Friends whispered nervously, exchanging wide-eyed glances, as a chill ran down Claire's spine. For years, she had convinced herself that keeping these assets a secret was to protect her daughter from greed and entitlement. To be humble, she'd say. But deep down, was it just fear? Fear that once revealed, everything would change, and the very bond they shared would fracture? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The air changed, electric with possibility. How could Claire keep lying? The weight of her decisions pressed heavily on her shoulders, like a storm cloud ready to burst. And the more she thought about the beachfront treasures, each one a symbol of missed opportunity, success, and nagging guilt, the less she felt in control. Rebecca, innocent and unaware, danced with her groom, blissfully ignorant of a fierce cyclone brewing just beneath the surface. As the celebration peaked, a shimmering stranger approached Claire. Distrust danced in her eyes as a tall man with a searing presence leaned in close, his voice as smooth as honey and as foreboding as a surfboard tossed by a rising tide. "You need to tell her," he whispered, sending tremors through her very soul. Suddenly, a scream sliced through the laughter, fracturing the moment. A guest had collapsed near the edge of the pier, and frantic calls for help echoed in the sudden hush. The festivities ground to a halt, leaving Claire paralyzed in uncertainty. Could this have been a warning or an omen? Will the truth all come crashing down like waves against the shore? The true question lingered: what would happen when Rebecca found out? The thin line between celebration and chaos unraveled before Claire's eyes. She barely registered the frantic crowd around her, their faces painted with worry as the guest lay motionless. Her heart raced, but her thoughts remained fixated on the stranger's words. "You need to tell her." But tell her what? Claire was stuck like a deer in headlights, torn between the terrifying truth she had hidden for so long and the instinct to protect Rebecca from what lay beneath. The paramedics arrived, men clad in bright uniforms who appeared like superheroes at the scene, bringing urgency back into the air. They swiftly checked the fallen guest while murmurs of confusion drifted through the onlookers. The scene barely registered to Claire, as fear gnawed at the edges of her mind. What if in that moment, the truth slipped out? What if Rebecca's fairy tale was shattered by her mother's web of lies? "Claire!" shouted a familiar voice, jolting Claire back to the present. It was Rebecca, her wedding dress dripping with the hues of the setting sun. "Mom, what is going on?" Her eyes darted around the chaos, reflecting confusion and growing concern. "Everything is fine, dear," Claire replied, her voice trembling, barely above a whisper. She forced a smile, willing herself to mask the turmoil brewing inside. But it was evident that Rebecca sensed the tension. She stepped closer, searching her mother's face for the truth. The paramedics worked quickly, and Claire felt the air shift as the crowd held its collective breath. Suddenly, the man from earlier reappeared, standing beside Rebecca. His sharp gaze flicked between Claire and her daughter, as if he carried the weight of the truth on his shoulders, too. "You can't shield her forever, Claire," he murmured, barely audible above the commotion. Her heart sank as the man's words echoed in her mind. Was he right? Had the time come to face not only her daughter but the consequences of her deception? The ground felt unsteady beneath her feet, clarity engulfed her, but it was a clarity filled with dread. The medic succeeded in reviving the guest, who trembled back into consciousness, but the wave of relief washing over the crowd did little to ease the storm inside Claire. She felt cornered, trapped in a moment that demanded honesty while pushing her deeper into silence. Just then, Rebecca turned sharply, her brow furrowing as she caught sight of the man near her. "Who are you?" she questioned, her voice steady, but the tremor hinted at confusion. "I'm a friend of your mother's," he answered, his gaze never wavering. "You should know the truth about her, about everything." His eyes locked onto Claire's, and in that instant, the chasm between mother and daughter grew wider. Rebecca's face paled, betrayal flickering in her expression. "Mom?" she gasped, searching for answers all around. All at once, Claire felt the world closing in. Each heartbeat thundered like a countdown, a warning that the secret was about to unravel. She had mere moments to make a decision. Would she dive into the truth and risk everything she held dear, or continue to prop up the facade that had cost her so much? At that moment, the lights on the pier flickered ominously, heralding the onset of night. Would the truth rise like the tide, swallowing the remains of her carefully constructed life? Or could she somehow find a way to protect Rebecca from the storm ahead? The answer lay just beyond the edge of her tongue, and with each passing second, a choice beckoned her into the darkness. Did she dare speak? The air thickened with expectation, as all eyes turned toward her. The truth hung in the balance, ready to tip the scales in ways she could never foresee. What would happen next, and could she bear the weight of the force she was about to unleash? Rebecca's eyes were wide, searching Claire's face as if it held the answers to a riddle. The crowd around them had quieted, but the tension crackled like static in the air. Every breath felt heavy, weighted by the unsaid. "Mom," Rebecca pressed, her voice low but potent. "What does he mean about the truth?" "What truth?" Claire's pulse quickened, each beat echoing loudly in her ears. She couldn't hold back any longer. If she didn't act now, everything would spiral out of control. She caught the man's gaze again, his expression a mixture of pity and urgency. And just like that, she felt the dam inside her begin to crack. "Reb, there's something I need to tell you." Her voice wavered, but it was enough to stop Rebecca's anxious fidgeting. "It's about our family, about your father." The older guests, once captivated by the day's festivities, exchanged glances. Claire could feel their judgment, their curiosity, and a tinge of concern. "Dad? What about him?" Rebecca's confusion shifted to a sharper edge. The wedding day, meant to be a celebration, was now suffused with dark undertones. "Your father," Claire hesitated, taking in a shaky breath. Wasn't he who you thought he was?" Rebecca recoiled as if struck. "What do you mean? Did he lie to us? Is this about the money?" "No, not money," Claire thought, a truth that cut much deeper. "It's more complicated than that," she replied, fighting back tears. "We have properties, investments, but it's not just about the money. It's about who he really was." "But I don't understand. Why didn't you tell me any of this before?" A flicker of anger ignited in Rebecca's eyes, a painful mix of betrayal and confusion. The stranger nodded, silently encouraging her. "Because the truth is scarier than you think," he said, his voice calm amidst the storm. "Your mother wanted to protect you from a past that haunts her." "Haunts her?" Rebecca's voice echoed involuntarily, the revelation striking like a blow. "What kind of past?" The world had morphed into a haze of betrayal as she tried to process the bewildering shift in her life, right on her wedding day. The crowd had begun whispering again, the kind of gossip that sets the stage for scandal. Claire could see the worried faces, feel their eyes dissecting her every move. Time was slipping away. I should have told you before, but I didn't know how. Not today, when you were supposed to be happy, Claire said, tears brimming in her eyes. I thought we could just put it all behind us, but now. Suddenly, the flickering lights dimmed again as a loud crack of thunder rolled overhead, sending the crowd into a startled frenzy. Rain began to pour, heavy droplets cascading from the night sky, washing away the remnants of sunlight. Claire felt a shiver run through her. It felt like a harbinger of doom. The bystanders rushed for cover, leaving Rebecca and Claire exposed in the sudden downpour, the weight of their conversation now heavy against the backdrop of a chaotic storm. I am not ready for this. Rebecca screamed, her frustration fueling her panic. You should have thought about that before lying to me for years. What else haven't you told me? Claire opened her mouth, desperate to explain, to clarify, but all she could muster was a choked whisper. The truth hung heavy in the air, thick and suffocating, as the storm raged on around them. Mom, please. The pleading in Rebecca's voice cut through the roar of the rain. If he's part of this, if my life is built on lies, how do I know what's real? The world felt like it was dissolving around Claire, reality unraveling like the fragile threads of the party decorations still fluttering by the pier. A flicker of realization hit her. This was just the beginning. The secrets that tied them together were poised to tear them apart. I never meant to ruin your wedding, Claire said, her voice barely audible over the storm. But I can't keep lying any longer. As Rebecca stepped back, shock and hurt etched across her face, Claire knew that the worst was yet to come. Everything is about to change, the stranger warned, stepping closer, urgency in his eyes. His presence was a reminder that they were standing on the precipice of something monumental, something that could shatter their world completely. And just like the crashing waves, the tide of truth was rising, threatening to consume them both. As the rain pounded down harder, Claire could feel the secrets, once comfortably buried, clawing their way to the surface. What was going to happen next? Whatever lay beyond this moment would be a reckoning, and there was no going back now. The downpour intensified, drenching the ground beneath Claire and Rebecca, transforming the wedding venue into a scene from a disaster movie. The once joyful atmosphere had shifted, replaced by the furious patter of rain as fury crackled in the air around them. Rebecca's trembling hands balled into fists at her sides, fighting against the tidal wave of emotions crashing over her. Mom, just tell me. What are you hiding? The desperation in Rebecca's voice cut through the roar of the storm like a knife. Claire felt a lump in her throat, as if trying to speak was like trying to swallow a stone. I didn't know how to protect you, Claire confessed, her heart racing. Your father, he had secrets, dangerous ones. Rebecca's eyes were dark pools of confusion mixed with fear. What kind of secrets? Is he involved in something illegal? Her voice dropped, making the question all the more chilling under the weight of a parent's betrayal. The stranger stepped closer, his expression grim. It's more than that. Your father had ties to people who won't take kindly to history being exposed. History? Rebecca parroted, eyes narrowing. What history? You're scaring me, stop playing games. I deserve to know the real truth. Claire looked into her daughter's eyes. All she could see was innocence slowly being stripped away by the storm of reality. I wanted to shield you from it. It was safer if you didn't know. The crowd had mostly found shelter now, leaving just a handful of onlookers, their faces illuminated by the occasional fork of lightning. Every gaze bore down on Claire and Rebecca like judgmental crows. Whispers swirled through the moist air, blending with the clamor of falling rain, making Claire feel exposed, raw. Safer? You think keeping me in the dark is safer? What if I'm dragged into whatever this danger is? Rebecca shouted, words laced with anguish. Your father was a prominent figure in a world you can't even imagine. Claire shouted back, the anguish spilling over. He didn't just manage properties, he dealt with people who could and would destroy lives to get what they want. I thought his past was behind us. I thought. Claire broke off, her breath catching. But clearly, it's not, Rebecca said bitterly, freshly wounded and angry. The storm raged like the turmoil within her, shaking the very foundation of her beliefs. In that moment, a blinding flash of lightning ignited the sky, illuminating Rebecca's face, twisted with disbelief and anger. And then, a deafening clap of thunder followed, underscoring the turmoil. Rebecca took another step back, her expression frozen in shock. You mean, we could be targets? Claire felt her body seize as she finally nodded. If they find out I told you, or if they think you know too much, they won't hesitate. What did he get himself into? Rebecca's voice quivered. It wasn't just a question, it was the very foundation of her life crumbling beneath her. The stranger interjected, his voice low but urgent. There are pieces to the puzzle that you're both missing. Secrets that could not only protect you but perhaps even save you. But you must decide now to either confront your past or run from it, because it won't let you go easily. The weight of his words sank in as the rain poured down harder. Claire felt the walls closing in, a crushing sense of impending doom. We need to leave, Rebecca. Right now. Before it's too late. Just then, a figure emerged from the shadows, striding through the relentless downpour. Claire's heart raced as recognition sparked fear deep within her gut. A familiar face, one she had tried to forget, approached. Looks like the party's just getting started, he said, a menacing smile plastered across his face, hanging heavy with the weight of consequences yet to come. Claire's blood ran cold. Who had summoned this ghost from the past? And what did he know? As the storm howled in protest, everything hinged on the next moment. The truth was out, but far from understood. Blood, secrets, and a past long buried were about to resurface. What would happen when those buried truths clawed their way to the surface? A reckoning was coming, and there was no escaping it now. The figure moved closer, the rain glistening on his slicked back hair like a halo of trouble. Claire's heart raced, pounding fiercely against her ribcage. The man, Jack, had been a specter from a life she thought she'd left behind. With each step, he pulled both Claire and Rebecca deeper into the storm of their family's dark legacy. Don't you dare come any closer. Claire shouted, bitterness slicing through her tone. The words felt like a shield, but inside, she trembled. Memories flooded back, perilous confrontations, threats in hushed tones, and promises of safety broken by reckless ambition. Why so hostile, Claire? Jack smirked, that tone of feigned innocence grating against the growling thunder. I just came to check in on my old friends and see how the wedding was going. Rebecca stood frozen, confusion washing over her like the rain. Mom, who is he? What does he want? Her voice trembled on the edge of hysteria. He's not a friend, Rebecca. Claire snapped, the gravity of her tone striking like lightning across the dark sky. He's the worst kind of ghost tied to the past that threatens to destroy us. Jack laughed softly, shaking his head. You don't have to be so dramatic. Your father had connections, but that doesn't mean all of them were malicious. You taught her to trust the wrong people, Claire. Tell me what you want. Claire spat, her voice raw with anger. Rain lashed against them, soaking through their clothes. But it was more than the weather that made them shiver, it was the weight of secrets that loomed, heavy as lead. I want to help, Jack said, stepping out of the shadows of the overhang into the full brunt of the downpour. There's a lot you don't understand. You both think you're in danger, but the truth is far more. His smile faded, replaced by something more serious. You could still be safe if you'd only listen. Safe? Rebecca echoed, disbelief etched across her face. You expect us to trust you? After everything? Why would you want to help us now? Claire shot back, her voice trembling with both fear and rage. The storm reflected their emotional chaos, wind howling as if echoing their internal strife. Jack's expression hardened. Because it's not just your father's past that's at stake. There are bigger players than you realize, and they've come back to collect their debts. Your father left you too with more than just an inheritance, he left you with enemies who are far closer than you think. Rebecca's face blanched, the truth hanging thick in the air. What debts? What do you mean? There are two paths, one of ignorance that leads to destruction, and the other, well, it's a treacherous road, but it's the only way to come out alive. Claire flinched as she sensed an inevitability settling in. The thickness of unsaid words suffocated her. We don't have time for your riddles. What are you saying? Jack took a step back, gauging their reactions carefully. The shadows flickered across his smirking face, making it impossible to tell if he was sincere or truly malicious. Run away now, and you will never know the whole story. But if you're brave enough to step into your father's world, you might just save yourselves. The choice is yours, but make it quickly. They'll come for you. The heavens roared, as if the universe itself was emphasizing his point. Claire exchanged a frantic glance with Rebecca, the weight of Jack's words sinking in. Their lives felt as fragile as leaves in a gale. Mom, Rebecca whispered, eyes wide with fear. What do we do? A crack of thunder shook the ground beneath them. Time seemed to slow as Claire's mind raced. They were at a crossroads, thrust into a world of risk and danger they hadn't chosen. But running could mean being trapped forever in a legacy they never desired. Let us get inside, Claire decided, fighting to keep her voice steady. We'll figure this out. Together. As they turned to leave, Jack's voice called out after them. Remember, you can't run from the truth. It will find you. The rain fell heavier, but their thoughts stormed with uncertainty. The haunting specter of the past was alive. Once more, and they couldn't outrun it. What truths waited for them just beyond the next bend? And would they have the courage to face whatever dark legacy lay waiting? As they stepped back into a drenched, trembling world, they were unaware that eyes were watching them, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Claire pushed the door shut, the wind howling in protest as she leaned against it. The wooden frame shuddered under the weight of what they'd just encountered. Every instinct told her to flee, to find safety in distance, but fleeing meant facing Jack's truth, a truth she didn't want to know. The living room was dim, shadows lingered where flickering candlelight cast eerie patterns. Rebecca remained stiff by the fireplace, eyes wide and bright with fear. Claire's heart ached for her daughter. She shouldn't have had to bear the weight of their family's secrets. Mom, who is he really? Rebecca's voice cracked, words trembling with trepidation. Claire exhaled slowly, her hands trembling as she pulled them tight around herself. He is someone from your grandfather's past. Someone dangerous. Dangerous? You call him a ghost, but he's living, right? Rebecca struggled to grasp the enormity of their situation. What did Grandpa do? He made choices. Choices that put us in danger. That put us in his crosshairs. Behind Claire's eyes, memories surged, the whispers, the frantic midnight phone calls, her father's warnings echoing in her mind. We need to be careful, Claire. The past can come back to haunt you. The gravity of their circumstances seeped into Claire's bones. She felt like a puppet, strings dangling as she fought to hold on to control in a world spiraling outwards. What does he mean? Rebecca began but was interrupted by a loud knock at the door, rattling the hinges. Stay here. Claire commanded, creeping toward the sound, her heart pounding like a war drum. She peered through the peephole, the rain falling in sheets, obscuring her view. Mom. It's okay. Just hold on, Claire whispered, adrenaline spiking as she opened the door a crack. A tall figure cloaked in black stood outside, their face hidden beneath a hood. Claire Parker? The figure asked, voice muffled by the storm. What do you want? She replied, defiance clawing its way to the surface. I'm here on behalf of someone who knows your father. We need to discuss the estate and the danger you're in. Her heart sank. I'm not interested. The figure stepped closer, a hand raised to keep her from shutting the door. You don't understand. It's not just Jack you need to worry about. There are others. They're watching you right now. A chill ran down Claire's spine, a fear creeping over her like a cold shadow. What do you know? She managed. Enough to give you a chance to protect yourself. But time is running out. Suddenly, Claire felt the world tilt. The reality of it all crashed into her, the truth of Jack's words echoing in her head. If they were in danger, it wasn't just from Jack. It was a web of threats woven through her family's legacy. "Mom!" Rebecca cried, her soft voice cutting through the haze. "I think we should listen." But listening meant confronting the specter of their past. The storm raged outside, a mirror of the turmoil within. "Just give me a moment," Claire replied, the gravity of Rebecca's plea weighing on her. She couldn't deny the surge of urgency in the air. "Think carefully," the cloaked figure said. "What you choose now could save your lives or cost you everything." The choice loomed heavy: risk the unknown by engaging with this stranger or retreat into ignorance, hoping the storm would pass. The dim light flickered ominously above as thunder cracked, resonating deep within Claire's core. With a shaky breath, she considered the risks, but there was no escaping her reality. "What do you have to offer?" she asked, resolve fighting against the instinct to turn away. "Everything if you're willing to pay the price," the figure responded, tilting their head, revealing just enough of their face for Claire to see the glint of something determination. Or was it danger? As the storm roared louder, drowning out their voices, Claire could feel the weight of the decision pressing down. What would she be risking if she opened that door to the past? And suddenly, from the depths of the darkness, a chilling thought emerged: what if the figure outside held the key not just to their safety, but to unraveling the entire truth of their family's legacy? Claire's heart pounded, racing toward a choice that could change everything. Would they step through the door to confront their fate? The storm had only just begun, and now, their fate was hanging in the balance. As she moved to let the figure in, a sense of foreboding settled in her chest. Would they find salvation or descend into chaos? Her answer would come soon. But one question lingered, chilling her to the bone: how deep did the family's secrets run, and could they emerge unscathed in the end? As Claire hesitated at the door, the storm howled like a wild beast, rain drenching everything in its path. She glimpsed the cloaked figure's eyes, barely visible beneath the hood. They were dark, unyielding, and unwavering. The offer of a price unsettled her, stirring a sense of dread. "Is it just about money?" she asked, struggling to keep her voice steady, but the tremor betrayed her. "What do you know about my family?" The figure drew a deep breath, almost as if gathering the storm itself. "Your grandfather's choices led to a legacy, one that isn't contained within walls or money. It reaches far beyond." The unease morphed into anxiety, coiling tightly in her stomach. "Who are you?" She needed to know if this stranger was truly an ally or yet another predator drawn to the scent of her family's blood. "Someone who knows the cost of the sins in your family," the figure replied, the voice grating like gravel. "I can help you understand why Jack is here. But you have to trust me." "Trust you?" Claire scoffed, bitterness tinging her words. "My trust is not easily won. You're asking me to stand at the edge of a cliff. Sometimes, you have to leap to see if you can fly." Rebecca's wide eyes darted between her mother and the figure. "Mom, please, what if he can help?" The innocence in her voice cut through Claire's apprehension, tugging at her heartstrings. "What if it's the only way to keep us safe?" "Safe?" Claire echoed, the word rolling off her tongue like ash. Safety felt more like a dream than a reality. You Before she could finish, another loud crack of thunder echoed, shaking the house. It sent a jolt straight through Claire's bones, making her rethink her approach. Maybe there was a sliver of truth in the stranger's words. Just for a moment, she whispered to Rebecca. "I'll hear him out." With a fortified resolve, Claire opened the door wider, rain splattering on the floor mat, merging with the shadows of doubt swirling in the corners of her mind. The figure stepped inside, encased in that long cloak, barely leaving room for light to penetrate. "I am here to save you from your family's demons," it stated, fixing Claire with an intense gaze. "The darkness is closing in. Jack is merely a pawn in this chaotic game." Claire's heart raced. "What do you mean?" "Simple. There are those who want to erase your grandfather's legacy and yours along with it. They believe if they eliminate you, they will inherit it all." "Who?" Panic spread across Claire's face. Who would do that? The same enemies your grandfather made. Enemies that have waited around every corner silent, watching. The words dripped with malevolence, drawing a frigid breath from Claire. She could almost feel fingers reaching out from the shadows. And how do you know all this? The figure produced a small, worn-out envelope from the cloak, its surface battered but holding an air of mystery. This is a letter from your grandfather addressed to me. He knew the storm was coming. Claire's hands shook as she reached out, her fingers brushing against the fragile paper. What secrets lay within? It was terrifying and exhilarating all at once. Open it, the figure urged, a glint of something, maybe urgency. Flickering in their eyes. As she unfolded the envelope, her heart raced. Every second dragged like hours, tension filling the air until it felt suffocating. Inside was a single piece of paper, the handwriting unmistakable. It was her father's, and yet, the words took on a sinister undertone, penned in desperation, and then she read it. Claire, if you're reading this, it means the storm has caught up. Trust no one, not even family. They will come for you. Before she could digest the full meaning of the message, a sharp knock echoed from the back door, louder than any storm shock. Claire's breath quickened. What was happening? Rebecca's voice trembled, her innocence fading in the fray. Who else is there? Mom? The fear in Rebecca's eyes spoke volumes, each word uncomfortably clear. The figure's face grew serious. They've come for you. It's time to choose, Claire. Will you confront your past and fight for your family, or let the darkness swallow you whole? The air thickened with apprehension as Claire stood there, caught in a tempest of fear and uncertainty. The storm raged outside, but now it echoed within her heart, and just as Claire turned, a realization struck her to the core. The figure had brought not just answers, but a reckoning. Would she seize the chance to dismantle her family's curse, or would she let it consume her? In that overwhelming moment, unseen forces loomed closer, each question spinning tighter, until the haunting sound of the door creaking open sent chills racing through Claire's spine. What awaited her on the other side? Claire's heart pounded in her chest as the door swung open slowly, creaking ominously like the bones of a long-buried secret. The storm outside danced furiously, rain spattering against the windows as if warning her of the impending danger. Darkness loomed in the doorway. A figure stepped through, drenched and menacing, framing the pale light behind them. The man's features were obscured beneath a shroud of rain-soaked hair. Instinctively, Claire took a step back, pulling Rebecca close to her side. The figure paused, the air thick with tension and palpable dread. Claire, he rasped, his voice slicing through the chaos like a jagged blade. We don't have much time. Who are you? Claire demanded, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions swirling within. The uncertainty clung to her skin, cold and clammy. Someone sent by your grandfather. I've come to warn you. He stepped forward, and Claire caught a glimpse of the urgent desperation etched into his face. They're closer than you think. Enough of the games. Claire barked, frustration bubbling to the surface. I already have enough chaos in my life without some cryptic stranger showing up in the middle of a storm. What do you want from me? The truth, he replied matter-of-factly, moving further into the room. Shadows danced across his features, revealing his intensity and determination. The enemies you think are far off are among your own. Your grandfather's secrets run deeper than you know. Rebecca's fingers tightened around Claire's arm, whispering, Mom, maybe we should listen. Before Claire could respond, the figure continued, Jack isn't just some specter from your past. He's been sent to claim what is rightfully his. The legacy is a double-edged sword, Claire. It binds you to this world and shackles you to the darkness. A chill swept through the room, sweeping away any comfort Claire once felt. The mention of Jack made her stomach turn, a tight knot of dread forming. The idea that his intentions were tied to all of this felt like a noose around her neck. What do you know about Jack? Claire asked, her voice barely a whisper as fear wormed itself deeper. He's a key player, and he believes he deserves your grandfather's legacy. But inheritances can't be stolen without a cost, the figure said, motioning toward the letter. Your grandfather emphasized this in his message. The storm was coming, and Jack was part of it. Why should I believe any of this? She challenged, trying to drown the rising tide of panic. Because he won't stop until he gets what he wants. And if you continue to hide, you endanger those you love. He pointed at Rebecca, who was still clinging to Claire's side, her eyes wide and searching for answers that felt just out of grasp. They want blood, he continued, the urgency in his voice rising with each word. They believe it gives them power. You must confront it before it engulfs you. Your grandfather's legacy is like a dragon, Claire. It breathes fire, but it can also be tamed. The weight of responsibility pressed down like a heavy shroud, wrapping around Claire. She thought of the lives at stake, her daughter's wide eyes filled with unspoken fears, swirling in a storm of tangled emotions. Where do I start? Claire finally breathed, surrendering to her reality, the shadows flickering around them like whispers of the past. But before the figure could respond, a deafening crash reverberated through the house, followed by an unsettling silence. Claire's heart dropped as dread unfurled inside her, then abruptly, the lights flickered and dimmed, bathing the room in a suffocating darkness. They're here, the figure hissed, urgency now tinged with fear. A thud echoed in the distance, followed by a low voice, barely audible but clear as day. We know you're in there, Claire. We're coming for what's ours. Terror shot through her, an icy grip of helplessness tightening around her throat. The walls of her safe haven felt precariously thin. Claire. The man's intense gaze met hers, demanding focus. You can't hide. It's time to embrace the storm or let it tear you apart. The rattling of the doorframe reverberated with a chilling certainty. Claire's resolve solidified. She wouldn't cower. Not anymore. But could she muster the strength to face the oncoming chaos waiting just beyond the threshold? As the door rattled violently, her breath hitched, and fear clawed at her heart. What lay beyond that door, with dread coiling like barbed wire in her chest? Claire took a deep breath, the moment stretching eternally, and stepped closer to the threshold. Would she be able to stand her ground, or would her family's dark history consume her entirely? Claire's pulse raced as the door rattled violently against its frame, a sinister reminder of the intruders lurking just outside. The air was thick with tension, yet her feet felt glued to the ground. Every nerve in her body screamed for her to retreat, but she couldn't. Not when Rebecca was behind her. Not when dark forces were ready to breach her sanctuary. Claire. The man's voice was urgent, breaking through her spiraling thoughts. You need to decide now. You can't show weakness. Weakness. The word hung heavily between them. She had to make a choice, but fear loomed like a shadow over her heart. With every ounce of courage, she grabbed Rebecca's hand. We're not running. The crashing fury of rain battered the windows, blending with the echoing thuds outside. It felt like the storm itself was warning her of the impending doom. She forced herself to meet the man's gaze. What do I need to do? Stay close to me. There's power in numbers. The man adjusted his stance, a soldier preparing for battle. If Jack is indeed here, he'll come for the legacy first. You must protect it. Rebecca squeezed Claire's hand tighter, her small fingers trembling. The innocence of her daughter contrasted the dark reality they faced. Mom, I want to go home, she breathed, fear lacing her voice. Not home. They weren't safe there anymore. Claire looked around the dim light of the living room, the shadows shifting like ghosts, and steeled her resolve. We will protect what's ours. We'll fight together. A sudden crash jarred her back to the present, and the door buckled, splintering at the hinges. The figure in the doorway loomed larger, filling the entryway with dread. Open up, Claire. We know what's inside. The man standing beside her raised a hand, silencing the clamoring outside. Do you have anything of your grandfather's? Something that can serve as a connection? It might be able to repel them. She thought frantically, adrenaline flooding her senses. The old trunk in her attic, the one filled with her grandfather's belongings. It could hold a key, perhaps a relic of his past that was tied to the dark legacy they were entangled in. "Wait here," she said quickly, releasing Rebecca's grip and springing towards the darkened hallway. "Claire, no." Rebecca's voice echoed, panic rising as Claire disappeared into the shadows, the air heavy with foreboding. She rushed up the stairs, each creak of the floorboards amplifying her growing unease. What if they were already inside? What if Jack had found them? Clenching her fists, she pushed the attic door open. A gust of musty air hit her as she stepped inside, the space dimly lit by a dying bulb. The old trunk sat there, untouched amidst the dust, memories of childhood swirling in her mind like the storm outside. She pulled it open, her fingers shaking as they traced over the trinkets and remnants of a life once lived. Photographs, letters, and odd artifacts crammed into the box, each item steeped in whispers of the past. She dug frantically until her fingers closed around something cold and metallic, an old locket. It felt heavy with meaning, weightier than she anticipated. But with it came a flashback. Her grandfather's warning echoed in her mind, a chorus of caution she could no longer ignore. Just then, a loud crash from downstairs forced her heart into her throat. The intruders were inside, rushing through her home like hunters on a mission. She couldn't stand still. The locket was just a piece of the puzzle. Maybe it was what they were looking for, or perhaps it could protect her. With determination, she clutched the locket tightly and sprinted back down the stairs, each step feeling like a race against time. As she reached the living room, she froze at the sight. The door had been kicked open, and the dark figure of Jack stepped through, flanked by two menacing shadows. His eyes glimmered with malevolence, a predator savoring the moment before the kill. "Claire," he called, a sick grin spreading across his face. "We've come to collect what's rightfully ours. And you have something that belongs to me." The room pulsed with the tension of unspoken truths. She had a choice to make. Would she hand over the legacy, or defend her family's secrets with everything she had? "Get behind me, Rebecca!" Claire shouted, holding the locket like a shield. As Jack stepped forward, the storm outside reached a crescendo, thunder booming like an ominous heartbeat, echoing the chaos in her chest. The moment had come. Would she hold her ground against the darkness, or let it swallow her whole? What truth lay within that locket that could change everything? The walls of the house felt like they were closing in as the stakes rose. Would Claire be able to confront Jack in the shadows he carried, or would her family's legacy be reduced to ashes? The room was filled with a charged silence as Claire faced Jack, the locket glinting in her hand like a small, fragile promise in the storm of uncertainty. Jack's eyes gleamed with a mix of cunning and anticipation. The air crackled, heavy with unspoken confrontations and the weight of their shared past. "Hand it over, Claire," Jack commanded, his voice smooth yet laced with an edge that sent a shiver down Claire's spine. "You don't understand the significance of that piece. It's a key to everything we've been fighting over." "Fighting over?" Claire spat, her voice steadying against the whirlwind of emotions. "You think this is just about some possessions? This is about my family. And what a family it is. A legacy stained by secrets." He leaned closer, eyes narrowing. "You think you can keep it all locked away? Innocent little Rebecca is about to learn the real truth." Rebecca's grip tightened around Claire's arm, fear reflecting in her eyes. The memories of joy and innocence hung like broken glass, threatening to shatter as the storm surged just outside. Claire felt a rush of protectiveness for her daughter. There was only one thing to do. "You think you can intimidate us into submission?" Claire shouted, her voice rising above the storm outside. "You're wrong. I want to let you hurt my family." With a fierce determination, she clutched the locket tighter, feeling its cool metal warming against her skin as if responding to her resolve. "I want to give you anything." Jack chuckled, shaking his head. "You're playing a dangerous game, Claire. Those without strength end up like dust in the wind, blown away, forgotten. You need power to fight back, and right now, you have none." "Maybe," she said, her heart racing as adrenaline surged through her. "But I have something you don't love. Love is stronger than your threats, stronger than your past." Love? Jack sneered, the disdain palpable. It's a weakness. It binds you but also blinds you. In that moment, the door behind Jack trembled, sending his attention momentarily wavering. It was the perfect opportunity. Claire seized the moment, stepping forward, locket raised high. I won run, Jack. I stand for my family and the truth. Light flashed from the locket, illuminating the room as if a beacon of hope had ignited. Jack recoiled instinctively, eyes wide with surprise. What how? Claire felt the warmth of the locket radiating through the air, an unexpected surge of energy flowing through her hands. You want this, Jack? You want to revive your ghostly past? Then let us see how the truths you buried will react to the light. Suddenly, the locket grew hotter, pulsing in her grip like a heartbeat. Claire focused on the whispers of her grandfather's voice beneath the storm. Tell me your secrets and let us free ourselves. She shouted. As if responding, wind roared through the open door, swirling around Jack and bowing at Claire. The atmosphere shifted. The shadows that had been creeping closer began to pull back, murmurs of the past tearing at the veil that hid deeper truths. Jack stumbled back against the threshold, eyes darting wildly. This isn't over, Claire. You can't hide from what you are. The storm raged on, but within her, something new sparked. She stepped forward, fueled by an intensity she had reserved for moments just like this. This is my moment, my life, and you will not take it from me. With a surge of will, Claire thrust the locket forward. Light erupted, bright enough to engulf the room, its brilliance flooding every corner, casting away Jack's menacing presence. He shielded his eyes, shouting something incomprehensible before losing his footing, falling backward into the dark. The tumult outside quieted. Claire's heart raced, the tension easing as she felt lightness inside, the weight of secrets slipping away. She turned to Rebecca, who stood wide-eyed and trembling, but burning with belief. Mom, her voice quivered, forged with hope. Did we win? Not yet, but we are fighting, Claire sighed, stepping closer, wrapping an arm around her daughter. Together, we'll confront the shadows of our past. It's time. We uncovered every truth, no matter how painful. As silence engulfed them, their bond, their love rose up against what once threatened to tear them apart. They could navigate the storms ahead, armed with the knowledge that light held more power than the darkness that sought to consume them. You're still in danger, the figure from earlier interjected, holding steady. Jack and others will regroup. We need to prepare. Then we will prepare, Claire responded, her voice steady. We'll unearth everything and fight back. No more lies. No more shadows. In that moment, as the storm passed and dawn began breaking through the clouds, Claire realized that every challenge was just another opportunity to reclaim their lives. To rebuild. Legacy isn't just something inherited, it's crafted by each choice they made to face their fears together, and standing side by side, Claire and Rebecca trusted that love was the fiercest weapon of all. As the new day began, they were ready to step into the world together, unmasked, ready to embrace both the storm and the rays of sunlight that followed. You need to subscribe now, so you don't miss the next chapter in Claire and Rebecca's journey. Smash that like button now to fuel the algorithm and keep these powerful stories coming. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about their future. Let's hear your thoughts. And wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful conclusion and feel the strength of love and truth.